It's so important to know how to nourish ourselves well, and especially so during a crisis. There's a very old-fashioned saying that says food for the body, food for the mind, and food for the soul. And like all of these old-fashioned sayings, it has a lot of truth in it. We've forgotten a lot of this. We concentrate very much on feeding our bodies, and a lot of us concentrate on doing that well. And yes, a lot of people know how to feed their mind, even though we're not conscious that that's what we're doing. But when it comes to our inner life, our emotions, all our inner experiences, well, there's no knowledge around that at all, really, of how to do it. So I'd like to talk briefly about this. When it comes to our bodies, I'd like to share a few things that I do when I have to live alone. And now in isolation, I have some standbys. When I was in retreat in Assisi in a group of 3 people, someone gave me this wonderful French cookbook, and so we worked our way through it, and I built up a repertoire, but it's now come down to some very simple things that I rely on, and one of them is stews. They're wonderful because you can do a lot of things with them, and one of the tricks with a stew to give it really good taste is to saute the vegetables first in olive oil, especially the garlic and the onions, then add all the other vegetables. If you want to add some meat, a little bit of meat for taste, then add the meat. And if you want to thicken it, a little bit of flour. And for a variation sometimes, a tin of tomatoes or not, and some stock, and some water, salt and pepper, anything else you'd like to taste, and let it simmer for quite a while. Now, what this does is you can make up quite a big batch of it, and what I do is then freeze it in smaller batches so that it's there when I need it for meals. So that's one of my standbys. Another is dal. It's fabulous. One of my friends cooks the most wonderful dal, so I've got a good supply of that. And another I use is soups, and a standard I use is split peas, preparing them, and then having that as a base with all the root vegetables I happen to have in the fridge or can lay my hands on, and then a good stock, some stock or stock cubes, let it simmer for quite a long time, and then use a blender, and again that makes an absolutely wonderful rich soup, which can be stored in sections and frozen. So there's some of the basics I use, some of the standbys for making sure that I eat properly. Nuts is another one, dried fruit. When it comes to the mind, well, we don't realise that we do know how to feed our minds to a certain extent, and this is with ideas, with thoughts, reading, learning, sharing ideas with others is just such a rich way to feed the mind. And if we know how to do that and do it consciously, we can keep our minds in a very, very healthy, nourished state. Realising too that as you discover in meditation, when your mind goes still, it's actually infinite. So this process has no end. You can keep your mind as young as you like, all your life. And now we come to our emotions and inner lives. Well, this is where meditation really comes into its own again. It's purpose designed to feed us emotionally. And so many problems that so many people suffer from come from basically being emotionally drained. This is all the stress and worry that people suffer from has its basis in this a lot of the times. We simply don't know how to replenish ourselves emotionally. And this is, as I said, one of the key reasons for meditation, one of its key purposes. And we have a meditation in Lifeflow called the nourishing breath, which is designed to do exactly this. It's just slowing the breath down slightly when you breathe in, feeling as though you're drinking it in, and then focusing it in the center of your chest, in your heart center. So you're consciously breathing into your heart, and this is a way of really being able to nourish yourself emotionally so that you can stay healthy on all levels, physically, mentally, and emotionally.